So they give you a diagram, an X and Y. First thing they ask you to do is plot the points A, B, and C on the diagram. And they tell you that A is 3, 5. B is -6, 2. And C is 5, -2. Okay? So, A is 3, 5. So you go over, you always do the over line first and the up and down line second, always. So go over to 3, up to 5, and where they meet, draw a point, and that's your A. And it's probably better off to label it, 3, 5. B is -6, 2, so back to -6, up to 2. Draw your point, that's B. Okay, so that's -6, 2. C is 5 -2, so you go over to 5, down to -2. That's your C, which is 5 -2. And that's all you have to do for the first thing. Okay? And it asks you to show the triangle ABC, so simply connect up your lines. Use a ruler, do not do it freehand like I'm about to do it. A to B, B to A, A to C, and C to B. Okay, connect up your dots, draw your triangle. And that's the first thing you have to do. The second thing they ask you to do is find the lengths of the 3 lines. Now there are 2 ways of doing this. I'm going to show you both ways. The first way, and the way I think is the easiest way, is counting squares. Okay? So what you do for each line is you turn it into a right angle triangle. Right? So for B, and take the line B first.
AB.
B, yeah, AB. So the line AB.
There's a mark on the bottom of the sheet there. That's A, B, B, C, C, A.
Okay, well let's go with those. So AB is the first one they give us, is it?
Yeah.
Now you always start with the square root sign when you're getting length, because you're always going to end up getting the square root of your answer. Okay? Then what you do is turn this AB into a right angle triangle with AB being the slanty line. So draw a line over here, line down here, and then you simply count how many boxes is each line, the length of each line. So this is 1, 2, 3, 3 boxes down. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 boxes across. So that's 3 boxes down. Put that in your square root sign, and you have to square it, plus 9 boxes across to be squared. So 3 squared is 9, plus 9 squared is 81. So it's the square root of 9 plus 81 is 90, isn't it? It's the square root of 90. Okay? And you can leave it in square root form. You don't have to, or you can work it out. If you work it out, you get 9.49. It's on your calculator, so you may as well put in that into your calculation, square root of 90, and you get it. By the way, when you get to here, square root of 3 squared plus 9 squared, just put that into your calculator and press equals. Okay? And you get your answer. The next one, the next line you're asked to find is BC. Okay? So BC is this one here. Again, I'm going to turn it into a right angle triangle. And again, I'm going to see how many boxes down and across it is. 1, 2, 3, 4. So length of this side is 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That's 11. So it's the square root of 4 squared plus 11 squared. Put that straight into your calculator and you'll find out that it's 11.70. Okay? The last one is CA. Again, turn it into a right angle triangle. This is 2 across. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 down. So it's CA is square root of 7 squared plus 2 squared. Put that into your calculator and you'll find out it's 7.28. And that's that one done. I find that's the easiest way to do that. Okay? That's the way I like to do it. There is another way to do it. I'm only going to do it with AB. It involves using your tables. Okay? Go to the index page of your tables. Find your coordinate geometry. That's what this is. It's on page 18. So you go to page 18. And you're looking for length, so it's the line. See, the second one down is length of PQ. That's what you're looking for. You're looking for length. So let's get the length of AB using this method. So AB. And it tells you that to get the length, it is the square root, told you always start with square root, of x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared. Okay? So you need your x2 and your x1. Your points, your A, that's your x1 and your y1. So A was 3, 5. So the first number in your A is going to be your x1, and the second number is going to be your y1. B was minus 6, 2. So that's going to be your x2. That's going to be your y2. So you substitute those numbers in here. So instead of x2, we have minus 6. Minus, instead of x1, we have 3. Plus, to be squared, plus your y2. Instead of your y2, you put in 2. Minus your y1, which is 5. Y2 is 2 minus 5. Okay, to be squared. So here you end up with minus 6 minus 3 is minus 9 to be squared plus 2 minus 5 minus 3 to be squared. Okay, let me remind you what we came up with in our one. We came up with the square root of 9 to be squared plus 3 to be squared. So we're getting the same numbers. The only difference is they have a minus. Doesn't matter because when you square it, it's going to come out positive anyway. When we squared our one, we got 81 plus 9. Here, when you square that, you get 81 plus 9. You get this exact same answer doing it those ways, but that's how you do it using the formula. Okay. What they're actually doing in the formula is the same as what we've done. I prefer it this way. I'm a more visual learner. I prefer to draw it out and to count my squares and to put them in. but that's there in your tables if you want to do it the algebraic way. The problem with doing it this way that I find, if you do it that way, you're generally, if you remember how to do it, you're not going to make a mistake. It's just counting boxes. With this one, you might put the x, you might forget which of these points is x1 and x2 and which is y1 and y2. You might make a mistake in translating your x1 and your x2 and your y1 and your y2 into numbers. Okay. So use your answers or otherwise in part A to show, in part B to show that the triangle is not a right angle. Okay? Well, this is getting your slope. If it's a right angle, then the slope at a right angle will be a perpendicular slope. And the perpendicular slope, okay, it's a perpendicular slope, you turn it upside down and change the sign. Okay? So, a half, for example, will become minus 2 over 1 because you turn it upside down and you change the sign if it's a perpendicular slope. Okay? Now the way you get a slope, and that's why I like doing it the way I did it. Right, at A, so I need the slope of this line, AB, and I need the slope of AC to find out if they're perpendicular. So the slope of AB, the way you get the slope is it is the y numbers over the x numbers, so the down over the across. Okay, what the slope means is for every one that you go over, how many do you go up? Okay, so in this, for this one, for every one I go over, I'm going up about a seventh, an eighth over one, up another tiny. So you're going up a tiny bit for every one you go over. Okay, and that's how you find out the slope. The easiest way to do it, the slope of AB, is first of all, you're always going in this direction. So you're going from here to there. Are you going uphill or downhill? Uphill. So if you were walking along, and you came to B and you had to get to A, you're going uphill, so your slope is going to be positive. Okay? If you were going downhill, it would be a minus slope. Then you count how many boxes have you got down. You've got 3. Over how many boxes have you got across?
9.
You have 9. So your slope is 3 over 9. Okay? Or 1 over 3.
So your slope is 1 in 3.
For this one. Yeah, we can leave this 3 over 9. That's,
So no, if you get minus 3 over 9.
you wouldn't get minus 3 over 9. Because, look, you're going uphill. From B to A is uphill. It's not possible to be going downhill and uphill. If you get a minus, it means you're going downhill. And you can see you're not going downhill. If you've used the formula to get the slope, you've done it wrong somewhere. Because this is definitely a positive slope, because look at it.
Oh,
it's
so
going
B
uphill.
and AB.
Yeah, you're always, when you're reading the slope, it's always going in that direction. Even though they write it as AB, you're always going like the way you write. You know the way when you write, you start at this side and you write over this way.
Yeah.
Okay, it's the same when you're reading a slope. You always go from the minuses up to the positives, not back the way. That's going backwards. Okay, so always think it's the direction in which you write. That's the direction in which you read the slope. So that line has an uphill slope. Okay? And that's probably why they called it AB, to see, do you know that you read a slope by going in this direction? Okay? Then the other one, AC. So AB is 3 over 9. In order for it to be a right angle, AC would have to be minus 9 over 3 if it was perpendicular. That's the perpendicular slope of AB. Okay? So if it's going to be a right angle, The answer to AC has to be minus 9 over 3. So let's look at AC. Alright? So the first thing is you're going, again, remember in this direction. So A to C, well, it's obviously downhill. So it's going to be minus slope. So you have the minus bit right anyway. Okay? So then again, count the amount of boxes down. Always do the down first. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We've worked that already. Over the number of boxes across, it's 2. 7 over 2, minus 7 over 2 is not the same as minus 9 over 3. So it is not a right angle triangle. Okay? It's not a right angle triangle because the slopes are not perpendicular. And just to make one other thing, and again, now you can also work out the slopes of the two lines using the algebraic way, which is in your formula books. It's the first one there, and it tells us that m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Okay? Page 18. Again, if you're using that, don't mix up your x1s and your y1s. You're not asked it in this paper, but there is one other thing you can be asked to do with lines, and that's to get the midpoint. Again, you have it here. You have the midpoint. Oh, there's two other things actually. I'll just show you. Do we need to do it here? No, we don't, so I'll show it to you. The midpoint is here, so you can use that formula to get the midpoint. Otherwise, the midpoint just means the midway. You can measure it with your ruler and get the halfway mark, and that's your midpoint. Or what you can do is find out your y coordinates, and the easiest way to do it is that's your A, that's your B. Drop them down onto the x line to get your x coordinate of the midpoint. So that's at 3, that's at minus 6. Bring them together until they meet. So bring that to 2, bring that to minus 5, bring that to 1, bring that to minus 4, bring that to 0, bring that to minus 3, bring that to minus 1, bring that to minus 2, and they're going to meet halfway. Okay? They're both going to meet there. So your x point, that's going to be your x, which is minus 1.5. And for your y coordinate, same thing. This time bring it over onto the y line. That goes there, that goes there. Bring them together till they meet. That jumps down one, that jumps up one. They're going to meet here in the middle. They're going to meet at 3.5. So your y is 3.5. And that's just a quick way of getting the midpoint. Okay? Last thing they can ask you to do, just while we're on this question, is to get the equation of the line. Now for the equation you have to use your tables. Okay? See the equation of the line, see the way they give you two lines, y minus y1 equals m bracket x minus x1, and underneath they give you y equals mx plus c. Ignore the y equals mx plus c. They don't usually want the foundation level to do it that way. That's more for the ordinary level. Foundation level, y minus y1 equals m bracket x minus x1. So let's get the slope of this, the equation of the line A. Okay? So A is, you need a point and you need the slope. Now we worked out that the slope of this was 3 over 9.
Is this answering question 6?
No, I'm just showing you these are questions that can be asked as part of question 5. Now they haven't asked it in that one, but I don't want you going into your exam without seeing how to do this, because it's very likely they could ask this. You need the slope and you need a point. Now they use m to represent the slope for some reason. That makes absolutely no sense to me. I don't know why they don't use s, but there you go. M is the letter that donates.
What is m like?
Yeah.
How do we know that?
Might be the Latin for slope. You just have to remember that m is, see up here on your, these,
yeah.
right? See here slope?
Yeah.
See here they have the letter N
Oh, yeah,
equals.
yeah,
So
yeah.
that'll remind you if you
Yeah.
forget what N is.
Yeah.
So slope is M, you need the point, and the point A is 3, 5. Okay, then your equation is y minus y1, equals m bracket x minus x1. And you simply substitute in, this is x1, this is y1, and you have y minus 5 equals, instead of m you put in your slope, 3/9 bracket x minus 3, and just leave it at that. That's it, that's all you do if you're asked to get the equation. Okay, don't have to work it out any further. Just a quick note for anyone who might want to. If you were to work it out further, the way you do it is you multiply this bracket by that number, and then you put your whole numbers together and your x's and your letters together on one side of the equals, or put your y on one side of the equals and your x and your numbers on. But put together your numbers, put together your x's, put together your y's. But you don't have to do that. It's just in case people want to know how you would work it on down.